we're having fun with it. But the truth of the matter is, C Money, right now, Xbox is in the best position in gaming. You can say what you want about Nintendo Switch selling its 5 million consoles and Donkey Kong Bonanza being a Game of the Year contender, because that's what I would say. And if the number would agree with me, he gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm there right now with the same score. It is flawless. I love my Nintendo Switch too. I have a great time playing with Tyler, and we're really enjoying both Donkey Kong and Mario Kart. So as a family, it's great. PlayStation, they're going to have a couple of games, right? Death Stranding came out. It obviously it's going to probably be a Game of the Year contender, and I would say that it's worthy of it. The game looks gorgeous. Every complaint that a lot of people had, including my brother, who loved the original so much that he beat it 3 times on 3 different platforms, is saying that it has a bit of Metal Gear in it. The kind of like some of the lulls from the first one have been fixed. So I think this is that's if you're a PlayStation player and you're playing it, that's great, right? Ghost of Yotai is coming out later this year. They have another locked up deal that they're publishing, and of course MLB The Show was in the top 10 most best selling games of the year for them. That's a big win for them. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this is an Xbox podcast, and we are going to TTS right now. I want to shout out Snap Blast Play. He is a member of the Twitter community that consistently talks about Xbox, and he does walk the walk, talk the talk. But he put out a listing, and this it's not that it's vague, it's what has happened in the past couple of weeks, right? So I want to use his particular list, which I will add to the show notes if you want to follow him, and you should, and if you want to see it for yourself. Now, we learned yesterday, C-Money, that Xbox had a plus 13 growth year over year. That's a big number. That's a double-digit number. It's 13%. They have 500 million active users across multiple devices. That's insane, dude. Okay?
Thanks.
Right now, in FY25, it has been confirmed that it's the biggest Xbox year ever, right? Here's another stat. Nearly $5 billion in revenue from Game Pass. Now, this according to Christopher Dring, who has gone into witness protection, said that this was an unsustainable, thing, right? That there was no way that Microsoft could be making money, right? We know that they invest $1 billion, but they made nearly $5 billion. I don't understand it. Like, again, some of the rhetoric, some of the backpedaling and the toe tipping, dancing that people are doing and the goalpost moving is almost, I'll say this again, because I don't do the names thing. I, as a human, are embarrassed for some of these people. I'm going to tell you that right now. And some of them are grown men and women with children, and how they're acting about a corporation is just bugged out to me. But let me continue, C-Money. This comes the way of Satya Nadella. Not only is Xbox the top publisher on Xbox, that makes sense, right? Because they're going to have 12 first-party releases by the end of the year, not counting any shadow drops. But they're the top publisher on PlayStation. So let me get this straight. If it wasn't for Xbox in 2025, PlayStation would have no games, right? I mean, we know that 6 of the top 10 most paid for games in the list that came out 2 days ago is what? Xbox Game Studio titles on PlayStation. That's very interesting, C-Money.
It is.
And according to Snap Blast Play, Xbox dominates the top 10 PlayStation storefront. And you know what's crazy? All of this incredible news And there are a lot of little stories. Now, one of the stories that came out yesterday, we're going to get into it, is that we all knew that Black Ops 6 was the biggest Call of Duty of all time. What we didn't know is that it has surpassed 50 million players. And you
That's
know why that's
crazy.
crazy interesting, C Money? Because the game isn't even a year old yet. It came out October of 24. We haven't even hit October of 25. As a matter of fact, even though it's 12 hours away, we are still in July, and it has 50 million players. And this is where we lead into the future. All of this incredible news, C Money, right, comes on the heels of the press, the anti-Xbox community, and the egregious podcasters out there, which of course stay nameless here. Xbox is dead. Game Pass is unsustainable. It's operating at a loss. You know who said that? Xbox has no games. They're mid. I could go on and on. But I just read to you an incredible list of achievements that only has happened in the last couple of weeks, right? Forget about the fact that they'll have 12 first-party releases by the end of the year. See, Money, the 25th anniversary of Xbox is next year, and we're getting Gears, Halo, Forza, Fable, and a bunch of other things. I mean, if you can't find any positivity in what's happening in Xbox land, then you are actually the problem. Let's get your hot take on some of the numbers I've just thrown at you.
Obviously, this is great news just for just the industry in general, right? To see Microsoft doing so well, that's what we need for our hobby, right? We need these studios, these publishers to be doing well so that they can go ahead and keep, investing, right? Like that's what this is all about, right? Like what we call games, they call investments, right? They are investing in themselves. They make a game, they're hoping that whatever they spent on that game is going to turn into more money coming in. So as long as they're making money, they have no problem spending money, which is what's required for us to get what we want, which are the games. So this is all great news. As far as Microsoft proper, this is the thing. We knew this, right? Like these are similar numbers to what has happened in the past. They grow everywhere else and they go down on hardware, right? Hardware, it's a 5-year-old generation, and they are more open to play anywhere. So like that's a given. Again, no one's crying about that because at the end of the day, where they make their money is on every other part of the business. And frankly, it's going up, right? That's all that matters. As long as that number is moving up, that is going to be what they need to continue to say, okay, this is worth investing more. Let's keep going and making it bigger and better, right? The crazy news was the fact that there's 50 million people who've played Call of Duty. And I could tell you right now, that there are going to be people saying, yeah, but that's not 50 million sold. That's 50 million players. You got Game Pass. Cool. Okay, well, let me tell you a secret. I play the game through Game Pass, and I spend more money on Call of Duty than I've ever spent on Call of Duty. I've bought
Those skins are addicting, bro. I'm not gonna front.
So many, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that 50 mil is 50 mil of making some money, man. And that's huge, right? Because again, Call of Duty, if I know people like to talk about shit and say, well, Microsoft bought the company, they inherited that amount of success. But if y'all remember, leading up to that purchase, Call of Duty was actually on a decline. It was actually on a decline before they got purchased. So the fact of the matter is not only did they buy ABK and handle all the egregious shit that was happening at the studio and at the publisher, you know, and all the studios they had, not only did they sort that out, but they also went ahead and took Call of Duty, brought it back to relevancy, put it back in the hands of players. Game Pass is in fact the saving grace, because what happened with Boom? Boom told us that he wasn't really in to the multiplayer aspect of Call of
Yep.
Duty. And then lo and behold, my boy Boom gets it in Game Pass and loses his fucking mind. Man, this
Bro,
game's
it is
so
almost,
goddamn
it's an
much.
addiction. It is an addiction to the point
It's crazy.
where listen, I'm not playing in any tournaments, but I am smoking MFers. And for an old man who's going to be 55 in September, this old man got a lot of new tricks. And I don't know what to say other than you see the gameplay. That's me playing. That's not my nephew playing. That's me playing.
We see it. We see it. It's just such a powerful platform.
Yeah.
That again, you know, had it not been in Game Pass, had Microsoft not bought ABK, Boom would have looked at this game the same way he looked at every other Call of Duty before that: play the campaign, get out, right? But because it was in there, it's a zeitgeist moment, right? Everybody's pumped to see the new Call of Duty because it's in Game Pass, a bunch of people jumping in free, you know, as far as the part of their subscription. And it just took off, right? And we saw the same thing, because it's funny, because you think about how much they sell and you think, oh, 50 million people is so much. Man, when before Black Ops 6 came out, the previous game came to Game Pass as well. Was it Modern Warfare 3? Is that what it was? Or what?
Yeah.
Whatever
3.
The last one was before Black Ops 6.
Yeah, it's 3. And that one got, you know, run through the mill because it was a DLC turned into a full release, and it still sold gangbusters.
It sold gangbusters, and then when it came to Game Pass, all the people who didn't want to really mess with the game jumped in, and my timeline was flooded with a bunch of people playing it, praising it. An old game, you know what I'm saying? But it came to Game Pass, and people were just losing their minds, like they never played a Call of Duty before, right? That's the reaction that Game Pass is designed to allow for, right? It allows for people who might have had a preconceived notion on a type of game that they had no desire, or they thought they had no desire to play or spend money on, to go ahead and just say, F it, let me download it, and then have the ability to fall in love with it, right? That is the beauty, right? And that is playing out in front of our eyes, right? We get to see it happen. And although you have all these naysayers out there who, you know, these ponies and these people who want to question it, the media, and talk all this crap about it, it's like, you know, as much as people are desperate to figure out the numbers and figure out how can they do it, we don't give a shit how they do it. We don't give a shit about any of it, right? All it does is validate that they are wrong, right? And that's why we talk about it in such a way. And the fact that it's successful is great, because it does, you know, bring more business, you know, more opportunity for new games and stuff, right? That all does matter. But at the end of the day, we don't care how the sauce is made, right? We just want to open up our Game Pass app, or open up Xbox and see what games are on Game Pass and play if we want to, right? Like, that's all we give a shit about. So the fact that we are seeing how successful it is fantastic, man. And it does so much for these games. It did it for Call of Duty. Look at Horizon, Forza Horizon, right? Like, we know what it did on PlayStation, right? One of the best-selling games over there. And the fact that not only is it one of the best-selling games over there, but it's also one of the best-selling games for Xbox over the course of this last year that it's been, or since it's been on PlayStation.
Yep.
Because you have that effect, right? It's back in the zeitgeist. People are talking about it. People are playing it. They see their friends on PlayStation playing it. They go back and they play it on Xbox. They go back and buy it on Xbox. We talked about this before it all started happening, where I was talking about how there's going to be that other side of the reaction, right? Where once games get back in the zeitgeist, there's a lot of people who bought an Xbox after 2021. You know what I'm saying? In 2022, 2023, 2024, these years where Horizon had been out already. It's an old game. Just because it's the latest game doesn't mean that people are going to necessarily flock to it. It's old, right? It's not in the zeitgeist anymore, right? So it obviously does what every game does, and it slows down, right? A lot of people were still getting it, but it still slowed down. And then all of a sudden it goes to PlayStation, back in the zeitgeist. PlayStation players love it, right? They're embracing it more than they even embrace Gran Turismo, right? So they're loving the game, and it's having that trickle effect everywhere else, right? So PC players are going to be playing more of it. Xbox players are playing more of it, buying the game that they missed because it's back in the zeitgeist. So, that at the end of the day is what like truly matters for us gamers, right? These other scenarios that are out there where these people are crying and dooming and glooming about Xbox every moment that they can. Every time there's good news, there'll be some type of article written about some possible problem or issue that Xbox may or may not have in some point in the future, depending on the day and time. It's like, yo, like what, like, God, like look at the information that's out there and just see it and accept it, right? Like there is no, look, I know people want to look at Xbox like they're in third place, and people have such a hard time with this idea that PlayStation is following suit with what Xbox is doing. And it's cute because they're acting like this is the first time, right? Like PlayStation constantly tries to follow what Xbox is doing. Their whole live service push is in response to Xbox having multiple live service games that exist and flourish. It's all copying. And
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like you need to understand something. Like no company copies a loser. Doesn't exist. Okay, they don't. Companies don't go ahead and say, "Oh, this company's in last place. We're gonna copy them." That never happens. You know why? Because we've said it in my podcast, and I'm sure we said it here. But there's a saying that exists, and it's the most valuable thing that you would ever be able to understand and grasp in your life, because there's a lot of people who will try to do it, and you need to be able to decipher who you should and shouldn't listen to. And the saying is simple: you never take advice from someone who's not in a position that you would want to be in. Okay, it's just the facts of life. Somebody who's made only $1 million can never tell you how to make $1 billion, right? They can only teach you up to their point and what to know, right? Like, and they can only show you what they've experienced. They can never go ahead and teach you further. That's only for someone who's already done it, right? So at the end of the day, there is no way that Sony would look at Xbox and say, that's the last place company, we want to copy them. No. Sony does not see Microsoft and Xbox as the last place company. We've told y'all forever that profits are the only thing that matters. All the other numbers don't make a difference. And for the amount of money that PlayStation grosses, their net is shit. It just is. Whereas, how can Microsoft, with at least half of the amount of install base that PlayStation has, how can it be doing better financially, or even in the same range? PlayStation should be doing twice as good as Xbox with as many consoles as they have.
And they're not.
But they're not.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. It's because Microsoft does not rely solely on their box. And I'm telling you, as much as these dudes on Twitter think they know business,
what a joke.
PlayStation tells them all the time that they don't know business. PlayStation mocks them. It's just what they do. I do have to take this call.
Yeah, no, I'll continue until you come back, brother. Well, you know what? Just for, and I'm sure, folks, you see this on the socials, right? Like the immediate pushback from the anti-Xbox community and some of the hate rhetoric that some of the PlayStation fandom is trying to push onto Xbox with all of this good news is, well, you shouldn't be capping for a corporation. You're a corporate slave. First of all, no one in this chat and no one on this panel and no one on any of my panels caps for the $4 trillion company. You know why? Because we don't give a shit. When they do good, we do better. And that's the easy answer. C Money said it. If they continue to make money, they're going to continue to invest in what's making money for them. Well, that's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. That's Xbox. Xbox is making money for Microsoft. You know what's a part of Xbox that's also making money? Xbox Game Pass. You know how we know that? Because the financials came out yesterday. And they almost hit $5 billion, which is an all-time high for Xbox Game Pass. And again, shout out to Ecstasies. He did the mathematics. Whether he's right or wrong, I would imagine we'll soon find out. But based on the numbers that were provided, he came up with a theory of between 37 and 38 million active Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Right?
That's another thing that I heard.
Yeah, good.
People are trying to deduce the numbers and like, oh well, let's go ahead.
I saw a couple of them.
How many subscribers? I'm sorry.
I know. I saw who and what you're talking about, and it's
they're trying to do math. It's like, fam, stop. Xbox is making the money. Satya Nadella is coming out and praising where they are to their stockholders. Understand that they are making money. They're making enough money to keep it going. That's what I don't give a shit if they have 5 Game Pass subscribers. If they're making $5 billion off of it, then they're making $5 billion, right? It don't matter the number. It don't matter how you cut it. Doesn't matter. 20 million, 30 million, 50 million. It doesn't make a difference. If they have 100 million and it turns out that everyone found a way to only pay $5 a month for their subscription, and for Microsoft, they're happy with that profit because they're only they spend a bill, make 5. Again, these dudes acted as if they understand business. If they understand business, they would shut their mouths and not question something that means nothing. Because the only thing that matters is no matter how many subscribers, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many permanent subscribers versus how many come and go. No matter how you cut it, it all equaled a $1 billion investment turned into a $5 billion gross, $4 billion profit. Come on, man.
And
what are we talking about here?
Again, there's so much upfront big news, right? I sent you a bunch of DMs. Like when normally I like write the show notes. This was too much to write. Like I'm gonna read verbatim C Money because there's a lot here. And again, this just goes to show you how many W's Xbox continues to get, right? Like, I know that there's going to be people, there's going to be a certain audience that thinks Xbox is dead, that it doesn't mean anything to them. You got to think about everything that we just talked about. And the fact that next year is the 25th anniversary, right? There is a rumor, and it's pretty much substantiated, that there's going to be OEM hardware next year. Not Xbox hardware, but partnered hardware, right? Colt Eastwood did a video regarding of how powerful this box is going to be. That's also on the heels. See, Money, we haven't even gotten to Gamescom, where we're going to get the price and the actual release date for the two handhelds. I mean, this is crazy, right?
Cannot wait.
Listen, let's call a spade. Maybe it's out of some price ranges for some people, because of course we are living in a time where everything is expensive, and maybe you don't have the spendable cash, and that's completely understandable. But there are going to be people like me, like C Money, that are going to want to buy this thing, and we're going to buy it, and we're going to enjoy it. That has not even officially been making the rounds. Yeah, we know about it. They showed it off. Gamescom, there's going to be hands-on. People are going to be out there playing a ton of games that are going to be out there. We don't know if there's going to be a potential shadow drop. We don't know if there's going to be a shadow announcement of a first-party game that might have been held for Gamescom from June's event, right? We still have that. But here are a bunch of little stories. Forza Horizon 5 closing in on 50 million players over its lifetime. Think about that just for a second. Again, we just talked about a 50 million player count for Call of Duty, which was done in 10 months, right? Well, okay, that's Call of Duty. That doesn't happen just to anybody. But Forza Horizon 5 is a game that came out in 2021. It launched on Xbox, launched on PC, just launched on PlayStation. We know that it's the best-selling game on PlayStation in 2025. And you know what that means? That means that it's outdone Death Stranding 2, and it's outdone everything else. Now, granted, it just beat Monster Hunter by a pinch, but it's still the best-selling game as of right now on another platform that isn't Xbox. That's bananas, right? But you know what's even more interesting? What happened 2 days ago? Grounded 2 came out, and no one's talking about that. Like, everyone is playing it. You've talked about it, right? I've seen your posts.
We reviewed it.
And you reviewed it. And look, just think about this for a second. This is a game. It's a gas game. It's in preview. It's doing gangbuster numbers, higher than the original on PC through Steam. And people on Xbox are playing it through the preview program and enjoying it. Again, it's these little stories, and there's more. You have to remember, folks, we're still in July, even though it's, again, 12 hours away from August 1st. And we still have 3 massive shows that we know Xbox is going to show up in a big way. You have Gamescom. That's already been confirmed. We haven't even gotten into what's going to be there. They're going to have over 20 games playable on the handheld, and they're going to take over the place like they did last year, right? We're going to have boots on the ground coverage from Kay Asante, which I cannot wait to see. I've already talked to him behind the scenes. He's got a bunch of interviews lined up. Can't wait to see what content he brings to the table. So I'm very excited for him and his channel. But see, Money, you got Tokyo Game Show. Xbox confirmed to be there, right? They've already confirmed they're going to be there. We know they're making a big push into the East. They want to take over regions that paid that platform no attention, and now they got a foot in the door with this new partnered handheld. A lot of people think that it's only for Europe. Wrong. They're going to be there in Tokyo in a big way. Tokyo Game Show is going to be big for Xbox. And then, of course, depending on your mileage may vary on this one. I think it's important. A lot of people don't. That's fine. but the Game Awards. There's a chance, see money. And again, it's a shot in the dark. I'm saying I haven't talked to anybody, and if I did, I couldn't reveal it anyway. But there is a real shot that we could get a 2019 console reveal situation at the Game Awards with a game to go with that announcement. You got to remember, when we all watched the Game Awards in 2019 and we saw Phil Spencer get up on stage, we thought he was talking about Xbox Game Pass. He showed off Hellblade 2 and he showed off the new console. That could very well happen. Now, it may not be their console that's expected in now 2027, but it could be the OEM console that Colt Eastwood's been talking about, and that would be a really big deal. That would be the capper, if you will, of the year for Xbox. I mean, listen, we can keep going. I want to hear from you, C Money. I mean, like, I just put a bunch of numbers in front of you, and they're all positive. How anyone could be negative about this is wild to me.
I mean, it's forced, right? Like that's what it is forced negativity, right? They want to go ahead and they want to downplay it, only because in their minds, Xbox doing well and accepting that means in their minds they have to accept that PlayStation's not doing as well. Like they can't both be doing well. It's a outdated mindset, right? And again, like as much as it hurts them to see the success. I mean, this is just all great news for Xbox. They're really doing a huge move in the right direction. They keep growing and having more excitement for the players, right? I mean, listen, I cannot wait to find out more about the handheld. They already sold me on it. It gonna literally play every single game that I would want to play on it. And I'm very, very excited for it. So I cannot wait for that handheld to drop. Definitely getting the X, the Ally X.
Yeah, me too. I'm getting the big boy. Yep.
Yeah, it's either gonna be 800 or 900 in the US. It's it's gonna happen, but I'm so pumped for it. And then whatever console they drop next year, if it's a jump, like if it's a nice size jump, if it's going to be something good, I'll be there too. I'm ready for the next, whatever's next. I'm ready for it. Next year is going to be crazy for Xbox. And it's not just amount, right? Because they'll have the numbers, they'll have the amount of games that they're going to drop, but it's just the caliber, like the name brands.
It's almost unfair, dude.
Like it's crazy. Next year, Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, Call of Duty. Come on, man. Like that's 5 right there of absolute craziness. And then you're gonna have the possibility of State of Decay 3. Come on, man. That's 6. Jesus. And then more. Whatever else they want to drop, right? Whatever else they have coming out. Man, it's such a great time to be an Xbox fan. Honestly, it really is. It's empowering. Like even I'm sure you guys could even see, my demeanor towards it, because it really, I mean, seeing it's real wild. Like it's almost like kind of looking down at the losers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, why can't you see it? Right? Like it's right there in front of you. This is like, it's just right there. But this is the way they are. This is the way they are. And they don't want to change, or they refuse to change. And it's like, all right, well, sucks to be you guys, because over here, man, it's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful. And it's only getting better day by day, right? I mean, frankly, there's really nothing negative that I could speak on with what Microsoft is doing. They're doing everything we want them to do, and they're growing fantastically. And I'm just excited. You said, it's all about these shows. Gamescom. We had talked about the fact that, last generation, for series generation, they mentioned it and then they announced it at a summer. They announced it at the June showcase. They didn't do it this time, but they also had the Fan Fest last year at the end June versus now they're doing it we thought FanFest was canceled, right? Remember all the noise and the talk. Look, they don't want to do FanFest anymore. They want to cut it. It's a waste. Remember all the talk, right? Oh, it's just they don't want to spend the money, blah, blah. Turned out to be bullshit, right? They do want to spend the money. They're just choosing where, right? There seems to be a pretty significant push to show outside of the US, right? They want to go over there, make it present, because dude, there's plenty of fans out there, right? But also, this new initiative with Xbox where they're putting their games everywhere, you're now speaking to the broader audience over there that you didn't used to speak to before. And frankly, it's so funny because again, this is why I laugh at all these people. I remember people talking shit, like media talking shit, people talking shit to Satya Nadella because Satya said that he wanted to redefine what an Xbox fan was. And people were giving him shit.
They came for him for that.
Crazy about this idea. Well, you're going to tell me what type of fan? No. He said an Xbox fan in general, right? What is an Xbox fan? He's going to redefine that. And guess what he did? Look at the top of the PlayStation charts. What he has there are a bunch of new Xbox fans. They may not rock an Xbox shirt or go out there and wave an Xbox flag, but when they talk about some of their favorite games, they are now going to be talking about Xbox games. All those people who are loving Forza Horizon for the first time on PlayStation are preaching their joy and their love of Forza Horizon. And what is that? An Xbox game. So just by the reality of what it is, those are Xbox fans. They're fans of Xbox games. They're fans of Xbox's works, of Xbox's studios. Those are fans, right? And that's just the reality of what it is. So Satya, as much as they want to come for the executives over at Microsoft, the crazy shit, and they call them liars and shit, bro, they tell you exactly what they're planning to do. Now, when Phil said 4 games, I honestly believe that it was 4 games that they were testing and they were seeing how it was going to go down. And look, it went down well. Doesn't matter anymore. And now it's all been embraced. It doesn't make a difference. They're making crazy money. How long has it been, right, that they did this? And PlayStation fans told us that Xbox was going to go away because they're putting their games in other PlayStations. Ponybots told us that Xbox was going to go away because they're putting their games on PlayStation. Microsoft and Xbox came out and just showed us that their numbers went up. Now, I don't know about you guys. Like maybe I don't understand what going away means. Maybe going away means getting better in every facet, right? Maybe that's what that means, right? And then in that case, I would agree with you. But I think the best part for me is knowing that at the end of the day, I never sat there and went at Microsoft for the very shit right now that I understood when they were explaining it to us. I understood which way they were going. I understood how it would benefit us. And seeing it all play out in front of my eyes is so satisfying. You know what I'm saying? it's just such a satisfying situation because of all the people who talked crap about it. I get to know that at the end of the day, I saw it and I knew that this is what was going to come. And look at now. Now, all of a sudden, all those PlayStation people who were talking crap and the pony bots who said they were leaving and how horrible this was, now all of them on PlayStation, at least, the vast majority of them are saying, well, I don't care. I'm going to stay with my PlayStation. Oh, okay. Got it. So you're not going to go to PC or the Nintendo Switch. You're just going to stay where you were, right? So all that bullshit that you were saying was all performative, right?
Well, a lot of these people are playing characters, like an actor or actress. That's what they put on these acts, and people fall for the banana in the tailpipe, right? Like some people fall for it. They throw the money, they give them subs, they promote their stuff because they believe this act.